Let me use your song as my intro.
Let's go for a walk in the park. Information is what you got. I wanna know more than just your name, to see if you feel the same. Are you the bird in the tree with the sweet song? Or like the tree with the leaves that just blow away?
What is up, everybody? We are back in the building. I hope you love my beautiful intro. You know, I'm always trying new things to bring people in, so I could test things as I bring people in. And I think that we figured out like everything. I mean, the sound's good. Luke Perry has already blessed us with 2 jewels. I don't know what the jewels mean, but thank you for the jewels, my brother. I used to listen to Jewels Santana back in the day. You feel me? Please hit the like button as you enter into the show. Welcome back to the Defiant Brandon morning show, because it's morning here where I am at. I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's morning here. And we have a very important topic to discuss. Please hit the like button. Please share the content. I am Brandon Tucker. This is Defiant Brandon. Welcome back to Accountability. The Islamic-Socialist TAKEOVER is here. And I am at the point where I believe that this is America's last stand. Now, I have no issue with Islam as a religion. You believe what you want to believe. But what's going on here in America is socialism is being used as a Trojan horse for certain people within what I believe to be is extremist Islam to gain a foothold in America, whether they are trying to enter this country to do acts of terrorism, or whether they're trying to enter to this country to take over much in the way they've taken over much of Europe. People just don't get what's going on. A lot of people don't get it. You're basically marrying 2 groups of people who, in every sense of the word, view themselves as victims. You have the democratic socialist hordes who are, they consist of the woe is me population of America. I don't have, therefore I hate everyone who does have, yet I am unwilling to work for the things that I want. And I feel that the answer to my prayers are to expand the government and give unchecked power to the government so that they can go and take from those who have and redistribute what they take to the have-nots. Now, here's my problem with these people, and we'll get into it more in depth, but you hate the government, you hate the war in Iran, you hate Trump, you hate the Senate, you hate the judicial branch. You basically hate anybody who tells you you got to work for what you want. But these people hate the government and are constantly pointing out the failures of government. But their answer to dealing with the government that they hate is to expand the power of the government. Like, just sit with that for a second. They despise America. They despise damn near everything America represents. They say the government is corrupt. Everyone's in the Epstein files. This is the line. But their solution for dealing with that corruption, their solution for dealing with the unchecked power of the government, the unfair treatment that Americans suffer at the hands of the government, their answer to that is to expand the government. Because I want people to understand that to even begin to implement socialism is going to require billions and billions and billions of dollars to be taken from America's taxpayers and directly injected into the government so that they can create the institutions that are going to be necessary to implement socialism. That's the first thing. In order for Zohran Mamdani or Katie Wilson or Brandon Johnson to implement this democratic socialism that they preach on, the first thing they need to do is secure large sums of money, because implementing totalitarianism and dictatorship, it's expensive. Just know that. Every socialist country, every country that accepted and brought in socialism, it came with a humongous price tag. And so the very people who are saying we don't have enough to make it from day to day, they're agreeing to foot this huge bill to implement a system that takes from the people with more by force and distributes it to people with less, while telling you that while being robbed, the people who have, the people who create, the people who generate the jobs are going to still find the motivation to continue to create, build, and employ to the same extent that they're doing now. It really doesn't make any sense. But no matter how much it may not make sense to me or you, there are candidates running in elections who are running on these talking points. There are people running in elections who are saying, look, we are going to create a socialist utopia. You are going to be able to have more while doing less. We are going to make everyone equal. The richest man in America will have the same amount of money as the poorest man in America. The richest man in America's healthcare is going to be the same as the poorest man in America. And I am, for one, I don't like the idea of that. I believe that you should work for what you want, and the amount of work you put in should determine what you're able to acquire. And a lot of the things that they say that we will gain from entering into a socialist system, they're things that we already have. I keep hearing people say, oh, we need health care for all. They abandoned the term universal health care because the research determined that universal health care would basically bankrupt this country and would ultimately bankrupt the planet. So they changed it to health care for all. I'm living in America, and I'm trying to figure out who doesn't have health care. Everyone in America has access to health care, because you can walk in an emergency room and they have to treat you. You break your arm, it will be set that day. You break your leg, it will be set that day. You catch cancer, you will receive treatment. If you have cancer right now today and you go to an emergency room and they determine, you have cancer, you're not leaving the hospital. They're going to do what they got to do, and they're going to find the programs that will pay for your treatment. This is a fact. This is a fact. Go look it up. Go look it up. But what I'm learning is there are a lot of people who simply do not know how our country works, and they are making decisions out of ignorance. They are making decisions out of ignorance. Right now, today, if you have an emergency in America, I live in Los Angeles County. If you have an emergency in Los Angeles County, you can go to Harbor General Hospital right in Torrance, and they will take care of you. As a matter of fact, many people with money go to Harbor General Hospital in Torrance just so they don't have to pay anything. So people are like, oh, everyone needs access to healthcare. All this crap. Bro, you have access to healthcare. But it's like people have fallen in love with this idea of universal healthcare. And so they need it to be called universal healthcare. When I grew up, my family for a while, we were on welfare. We had something called Medi-Cal. We didn't pay to go to the doctor. We didn't pay for anything. We went, we showed up, showed our card. We got right on in. Doctor's visit, emergency room, whatever. That was universal health care. My mom was on it. I was on it. And my 4 brothers and sisters were on it. And that still exists today. In the state where I live, every child is actually guaranteed free health care. So I don't understand. No, things have not changed. These people, guys, when you listen to these people, they're liars. XX1, he's a liar. Every child in the state of California is entitled to free health care. If your parents cannot afford to pay, you get health care for free. When I was first starting out, my daughter had free health care. Her mother had free health care. As a matter of fact, when my daughter was born, I'm slandering you because you're a liar. When my daughter was born, we were going to have her at the regular hospital. My wife's mother didn't want my daughter to be born at Community Hospital, or it's called Memorial Hospital in Long Beach. So she paid out of her pocket so my daughter could be born at Kaiser. But I'm asking y'all a question. If there's no free health care, where are all these hood rats, Pookies, Pookishas, all these people living in the projects, all these low-income people, where are they having their children? How are they affording to have their children? Who's feeding them? Because I worked in a grocery store. I saw more EBT cards than credit cards. In this country, we have all types of free programs. And yet it's still not enough for these people. And let me tell you something about these so-called socialists. It will never be enough. If the abundance of America that has people risking their life and lives to try to get here is not enough for you, it will never be enough. And these guys who I believe are Islamic radicals, that's what I believe. They are using that truth. They're using that fact about this element of America to gain power and basically invade this country without firing a single shot. Let me tell you guys something. Many, many, many people within America are greedy. They're entitled. They want to live above their means. You go to the projects, people don't even have a car, but they got Gucci on. You go to the hood, every kid is wearing $300, $400 Jordans. when their mother doesn't have a job. When I used to go to high school, it was a damn fashion show. And the best dressed people are the people who came from the homes that were single parent homes and no one was working. But now these same people are telling you, hey, we need to destroy our country so that I could get more, so I could have more to squander and waste. It doesn't really make sense. And these people who seek to invade our country and bring radical ideas into our country, they've recognized this. They've recognized this. And they are using the greed and entitlement of Americans. They are weaponizing the greed and entitlement of a certain demographic within America to destroy our country from within. This is not a joke. This is not a game. This is the 100% facts. They are using the greed and entitlement of a certain element within our country to destroy our country from the inside out. This is what I'm telling you. If you agree with what I'm saying, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to this channel, because this is what we own over here. And it's up and we ain't changing. If we gonna be the last stronghold, if that's what has to happen. Because I'm not gonna sit up and just let this country be destroyed by a bunch of bums who just don't want to work for the things they want. I work for what I want. I started off pushing shopping carts for $8.10 an hour living in California. With that salary, while my wife was on bed rest, pregnant with my daughter, I managed to move us to a better neighborhood because we live by a refinery and the air quality wasn't good. And my daughter kept getting respiratory infections, right? So I went to her doctor and I said, what can we do to stop these respiratory infections? He said, well, you got to move to an area with better air. So I looked in my city and I looked up what's the best air quality in the city. And it said the air quality near the beach, at the beach, Pacific Ocean, was the best air quality. Now, everyone knows when you go down to the beach, it's expensive down there, right? And at that time, there was some straight discrimination down there, right? Because they wanted you to make a certain amount of money. Even if you could afford the rent, they wanted you to make 2 times the rent or 2 or 3 times the rent. But guess what I did? I worked my ass off. I went and pushed those damn carts. I went to my boss. I said, hey, bro, I got to get my daughter out of this neighborhood. It's not good for her health. He worked with me. He said, hey, look, I can't put you on the schedule for, over 40 hours. He said, but what I'll do for you is I'll call you in the morning at 6 a.m. If you pick up the phone, I'll let you come in early. Guess where I was? Every morning, 6 days a week at 6 a.m. I was at the damn grocery store, ripping cardboard, cutting boxes, stocking shelves, making bells, unloading trucks, because that's what my daughter needed for her health. Do you understand? I was being a man. I was being a father. And within 2 months, I had enough money to move my daughter a block away from the beach. Better air quality. And hold on real quick. So she was having all these respiratory infections. So we've lived in this same neighborhood ever since. Hey, when is the last time you had a respiratory infection?
I've never had a respiratory infection.
She says she never had a respiratory. You did when you was a baby. You had like several when you were a young baby. But do you see what I'm saying? That's all I needed. But you see what I'm saying? She doesn't even have a recollection of that because her parents and her father did what we had to do to change the trajectory of her outcome, to change her trajectory. Now, playing volleyball, doing her thing. She's a senior. She made varsity. No signs of what was happening to her when she was a kid because we did what we had to do. Would you believe that there are people in this country who don't believe in that? Would you believe there are people in this country who will let their children live in the worst environments on earth all because they don't want to go get a freaking job? You can't tell me, because it don't get no lower than pushing grocery baskets. Do you understand? And she doesn't have to worry about getting shot or killed. And guess what? In America, I was able to do that. You know why? Because I wanted to do it. That's all I needed was a want to. These people are bums. They don't want to. And so because they don't want to, they want to empower the government to take from you. And the Islamists are taking full advantage of that. And they are weaponizing that in an effort to destroy this country. And my question to these people is this. If the Islamists knew, if what their ideas were so good, how come their ideas don't work in their own countries? Because I've been to the Middle East 3 times. I saw nothing there that would make me want to stay. I've been to the Middle East 3 different times, and I saw nothing there that made me want to stay. And my question is this. If Sharia law and jihad and all that other stuff works so well, and it would be perfect for America, right? Why isn't it working in their country? Why are the people who live in Islam-dominated countries, which I don't believe any country should be dominated by a religion, right? But why are the people who live in these countries that are dominated by Islam and Sharia law, why are they breaking their backs to come here? If these people have it all figured out, it should be the other way around, right? We should all be running from America to try to go into Saudi Arabia. Or we should all be running from America to try to go and live in Egypt. Or running from Saudi Arabia to go live in Iran or Iraq or Yemen. But that's not the case. So why people get up and listen to these politicians who openly say, like Zohran Mamdani, who says, if they would adopt the tenets of my religion, Islam, bro, if the tenets of Islam were so great, you would have never left Uganda, where you came from. You would have never came to America, the land of infidels, as far as they're concerned, to be up in our business. See, 2 things can be true at the same time. Islamic people can be welcomed in America. That can be true. And Islam is not the best solution for America as a country. That also can be true. As an individual, you are more than welcome. It is your right. But to entertain this idea that moving this country as a whole towards the tenets of Islam, no. The values of Christian values are what this nation was built on. And it was built up better than every other nation on earth on Christian values. Why you would build something up with Christian values and then try to switch the value system and think it's going to remain at the same level that it was is beyond me. Especially with those very values, none of those countries that were founded on those values have been able to reach the level that America has reached. And Zoran said that 100%. He said that. He said it on a news broadcast. Yeah, if we look at the values, if we adopt the tenets and values of my religion, Islam, he said that. I don't need to lie on this dude. Now, this guy right here, Al Said, he just won the Democratic primary in Michigan for its Senate seat. And he is a person who is a Muslim guy. He is Egyptian. He's mixed, but I know he's Egyptian on one side of his family. And many people believe that this dude is an agent of the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I do know that Al Said is using the same talking points as Zohran Mamdani and has made it very clear that the tenets of Islam will direct the way he basically carries out his senatorial duty. I'm sure he will be sworn in on a Quran, not a Bible, if he wins. And I'm sure he will do everything in his power to make Michigan just a little bit more Islamic.
You're on Instagram. My team has access to my Instagram account. And like the things that I actually look at on Instagram, right? Of course, we get served that on your For You page. But then like every third video that scrolls on its own is going to be some OnlyFans model. And it's because it clocked me as being a 40-some-year-old man.
If and when we win this race, how are you going to beat Mike Rogers and their money? I want you to remind them that if we come through this, when we come through this, inshallah,
so when he says, if we come through this, inshallah, why saying if we come through this, inshallah? Why is that a reason to cheer? That is a reason to cheer when people are voting not for what's best for the country, not for what's best for their state, not what's best for their city, for what's best for their city. They are voting based on who shares their religious beliefs. And that actually goes against everything America is supposed to stand for. It's just like in Africa. People don't care if the guy's good or bad. They just vote because the guy's in the same tribe. And that's why Africa is on this like revolving wheel. They're on a hamster wheel and can't make any progress. Because, hey, this white guy is really good. He has great ideas. He has a proven track record. But this guy is also Muslim. He could be as corrupt as all day long, as all get out. But because he's Muslim, I am going to continue to vote in a way that will destroy my community. I'm going to get excited when he says, inshallah, and panders to my ignorance. Right? And that's why I'm telling you, this is third world thinking. Much of what you see right now is the way elections take place in the third world, where people vote for candidates, not based on what the candidate can do for their city or country or state or whatever, only based on something they have in common with the candidate. Oh, I'm voting for him because his eyes are brown and mine are too. Oh, I'm going to vote for him because he gets down on his knees and prays to the east 5 times a day. He could be corrupt. He could be stealing. It doesn't matter because he believes what I believe. If you don't believe me, look at Middle Eastern countries. These countries are wealthy, beyond wealthy with oil. Why don't they implement socialism? Why are there people living in an abject poverty in every single Middle Eastern country? And the only reason you don't know is because they make sure that the cameras will never see these people. I was in Dubai. You could be done with me, bean smeller. Who gives a shit? Bye. Goodbye. I'm hurting your feelings because I'm telling the truth. Goodbye. Get out. We don't need you. We don't need you. Let me ask you straight up. They don't got no damn socialism in Qatar. You's a liar. They ain't giving nobody nothing in Qatar. Listen, I went to Dubai. There are these worker camps. You guys don't know about them because they don't show you on TV. In Dubai, they only show you the building. Look at this, the Burj Khalifa and all this stuff. I paid a taxi driver to take me to a worker camp in Dubai. If you're Muslim, if you are from Dubai, Call me out. Tell me I'm a liar. I'll give you the link. You can come up here and prove me a liar. This dude drove me about 40 minutes into the desert, right? I saw tents set up, tents, like Abraham type shit, like years, like stuff from ancient times. I saw tents set up. There were people sleeping and living in those tents. When they came out, the sunburn on their body was the worst I've ever seen in my life. And every morning, they have shuttles that go there. And they pick these people up and they bring them into the city to work. And then in the evening, because it's illegal to be homeless in Dubai or even in Abu Dhabi, in the evening, a shuttle comes, they pick those people up and takes them all the way back out to the middle of the nowhere to go live in those worker settlements. This is the truth. I saw it with my own eyes. Where's equality? Where's socialism? But yet the people who they are of that type of mindset, they come from those places. You're dumb enough to believe that they're going to come here and say, you know what, everyone's equal now. And we're going to take from the rich and give to you. No, they're not. The only thing these people are really saying is, hey, there's a new sheriff in town. If you want something done, you got to come through us now. You will never see a penny. I'm telling you today, Al-Said will not do anything when he gets in office for the American people. He will do what he has to do for the Islamic Muslim people of his constituency to keep them voting for him, right? The white liberal female will continue to vote out of toxic empathy, and absolutely nothing will be done to change the trajectory of the state of Michigan. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. He literally is selling you a bunch of bull crap. He's telling you what you want to hear because he knows that's what he has to do to get your vote, right? And then it will be business as usual. He will go into Washington. He will vote the Democrat line all the way down on everything. He'll vote against giving Israel weapons because that's what's getting you guys to vote for him. And nothing will change for you.
That will have taken $70 million on the chin and kept fighting back.
In every high school in America, we need the skilled workers. Man, is that popular across the state. People are ready for a change in Michigan, and that's what people have to understand. Democrats have been in charge here 10 years in Lansing, or better part of a decade, and over a quarter century in the United States Senate. And only thing has happened is we are worse in every metric category we have here in the state. And here's the big one, Lawrence. I get all around the state, talk to Republicans, Democrats, Independents, whoever will talk to us. They have tears in their eyes when they're talking about their kids and their grandkids leaving this state because there is no more opportunity.
Boy. So we got to talk about a night.
So when you look at this situation, and that's Mike Rogers, he's going to run against Al-Said in the general election. And when you hear Mike Rogers talk, he barely lost last time, barely. So people are thinking he's going to win in a landslide. But when you hear Mike Rogers talk, Mike Rogers is talking about getting people involved in trades, getting people helping people get gainful employment so they don't have to leave the state. But then when you talk to Al-Said, it's about giving everything away. Yeah, we're going to tax the rich. We're going to make the rich pay their fair share. We're going to abolish ICE. We're going to abolish the police. And then when he realized it was hurting him in the polls, he came back and just retracted all those things. I never said that. And he did say it. But this is what they do. They say everything they need to say, right? Right? And then once you vote for them, they go back to business as usual. Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, she did it. She still has her seat in Congress. That woman has voted 99% with the Democrat Party. the Israel sympathizers and all, she's voted right in line with her party. Because once they get in power, they have to stay in power. And then they begin to use the same tactics that the people that you voted out to get them in used. They start using those same tactics against you. But when they, and being smaller, I get it. That is politics. But what I'm telling you is you don't destroy your country in an effort to secure what's being promised in a bunch of by a bunch of liars feeding you false promises. You have to think like an adult. And when you got these people out here thinking like children, it's going to be all bad for everybody. As long as you dwell in America, right? As long as you dwell in America, you will have to work for what you want. Either you're going to work for what you want, or you're going to greatly reduce what you want. And if you don't do it on your own, you're going to vote in a socialist and they're going to do it for you. Do you understand? Right? This is what they're going to do it for you. They're going to say, hey, you don't need that. Hey, this is too much. You don't need all that. We got to make everybody equal. So that means we have to take from you to give to everybody else. Do you understand? But people do not want to accept the truth. People do not want to accept reality. That's the problem. People want to live in a fantasy world where they're going to be, where they think they're going to be able to get up and roll out of bed at 3 p.m. every day. And somehow they're going to still be able to be successful. There's no way, there is no way you are going to get the things you want if you don't work. And even now, before he even won, Al-Said was already on the ropes, and he's going to be on the ropes even more when he goes against Mike Rogers, because he can't even tell you what his Islamic-Socialist government that he claims that he's going to work for is actually going to be able to deliver for the American people. He can't even tell you where this is all going.
What do you tell those people about whether or not this is a pie in the sky dream that you're going around Michigan talking about?
Well, clearly I'm a different kind of Democrat, as we just talked about. $60 million spent to try and beat me because I don't take corporate money. I'm here to actually take on the challenges that working people face. Imagine you had a Congress that actually worked for you instead of worked for the corporations in the exact same way that Mike Rogers has made it work for a very long time. I really believe that Congress can do good things. That's why I'm running, because I'd like to make it do good things.
What do you?
So I really believe Congress can do good things. That's why I'm running, because I would like to make it do good things. Then what is that? What is that? But these are the people that you're going to give power to. And when I tell you that everything you're voting for, all you're voting for is to be placed on a hamster wheel. All you're voting for is to be placed on a hamster wheel. All you're voting for is someone to lie to you for the next several years. Oh, we're doing this and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then when they go back into the chamber, they say, whoo, it's getting harder and harder to keep these fools pacified. If you don't believe me, it's already happened. Look at Katie Wilson. Look how she did those idiots down in Seattle. Got in, defund the police. We don't care if the billionaires leave, yada, 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 yada. Now she's begging the billionaires to come back. Zohran Mamdani in New York drives out all the billionaires. Now the governor of New York has to beg the billionaires to come back. They're telling people, we don't like you. We don't want you here. We're going to overtax you. We're going to punish you through taxation. And then when the people leave, oh, don't leave, come back. Don't leave, come back. What happened to socialism? You could see that right now with Brandon Johnson in Chicago. He's literally reeling because his Democrat city council will not allow him to drive out any more businesses with his draconian taxation policies. So he's pissed. Zohran Mamdani had to raid the retirement of New York City workers just to meet his massive budget so that he could give health care to 2-year-olds. Just 2-year-olds. Not health care, free child care to 2-year-olds. Just 2-year-olds, though. Not 1-year-olds, not 6-month-olds, not 4-year-olds, not 7-year-olds. He raided the coffers of the New York City retirement funds so he can give free child care to just 2-year-olds. Just 2-year-olds. And you think that there's about to be enough for you. You guys are nuts if you believe that.
That's what happened.
And in the United States Congress, I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist for the Jewish people. Of their servitude, sharing in the profession with those who have not come before.
This lady is a nut. This lady is a nut. Something is really wrong with her mentally. But I feel the same way about someone talking about Islam on the stage in a political event. Our politics have nothing to do with your religious beliefs. Whether you're Jewish or whether you're Muslim, whether you adhere to the tenets of Islam. Why is a 2,000-year-old feud impacting the way American elections are run? Why is a moronic person in America allowing beef between Muslims and Jews to determine who they vote for? You got to be the dumbest person on the planet.
For you, similar times of trying medical need, wars and flus pass. You will see darkness. You will be pushed, and our society needs you to stand together at this time. Our country loves you. To our doctors and our nurses, I wear these laces.
The gentlelady's time has expired. The gentleman from Maryland is reserved. The gentleman from Texas is recognized. The gentleman from Texas is now recognized. The gentlelady from Michigan is out of order. The gentlelady from Michigan is out of order.
The actions here from the
Democratic Senate primary has clinched Michigan's Democratic Senate primary, defeating Congresswoman Haley Stevens in what was a very bitter and contentious race. El Sayed will advance to the midterm elections and take on Republican former Congressman Mike Rogers. That's coming up in November. Voters in 5 states punched ballots yesterday in several key primary races across the country. We're also keeping a very close eye on races in Missouri, Kansas, Virginia, and Washington State. That's
now, let me tell y'all something. Let me show you how you getting got. They want you to believe that AIPAC is running American elections. That's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that the Zionists control elections in America, and whatever they say is supposed to happen in America, that's what happens. That's what they want you to believe. But guys, this Stevens lady in Michigan, she was as much of a Zionist as I've ever seen. If the Jews control America and the Zionists and AIPAC control America, why didn't she win? I'll wait. See, now we're going to ask those tough questions. If Jews control America, Jews control our elections, right? Jews run what happens in America. Why did Stevens lose to Al Said? I'll wait. I'll wait. How did Stevens lose to Al Said? You see how that works? You see what happens when you apply critical thinking to situations? If the Jews are running America, how can you lose if you are a pro-Israel candidate? I'll wait for you. They're going to have to make up another conspiracy for that. And you know that this conspiracy, you know it's a conspiracy when they just keep having to make new conspiracies to explain the old conspiracy. Somebody said money, power, respect. No, because Al Said raised less money. He said he raised less money. You're going to have to pick one. You're going to have to pick one. The Jews can't be controlling America and at the same time fueling Muslim candidates who don't like Jewish people while pro-Israel candidates are getting trounced. I'll wait. I'll wait. Oh, because the third lady split the vote. The third lady was also a Democrat. If the Jews controlled the Democrat Party and controlled America, they could have just told that lady, drop out. Or maybe it's the American people who are deciding the elections in America. And maybe it's the ability for people to trick a certain demographic of the American people into believing that the government is going to take from the rich and give them all free stuff. Someone said it's a great example of how people are sick of Republican mega traders. They can have more money and still lose. It's great to see. You're a fool. It must be an example of how everyone's sick of being able to live in their city. Because, guys, all we have to do, like this Bob McPherson, Bob's not looking at New York. Bob's not looking at Chicago. Bob's not looking at Seattle, Washington. Bob's not looking at Dearborn, Michigan. Bob's not looking at Atlanta. Bob's not looking at Jackson, Mississippi. Bob's not looking at Los Angeles, California. Bob is not looking at every area where the Democrats are controlling things is an abysmal failure. So people are so tired of MAGA Republican traitors that they're going to turn their cities and their states into a cesspool. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a ton of sense. Handstands. That makes a ton of sense. But that's how you know that these people are not operating in reality. These people are not operating based on logic. These people are just whatever the TV says, they believe. Listen, they listen to what TV says, right? And then they find a way to make it make sense to them. That's what they do. They look at the TV tells them a lie, then they try to figure a way to rationalize what the lie that's being told. We can look at the stats. We can look at Seattle, how businesses are leaving in droves. We can look at Chicago. The guy has driven out at least 10 major corporations, including the Chicago Bears. Understand that. You can look at New York City. It's collapsing. And yet these people are still voting in Islamic socialists and democratic socialists, not even realizing that the majority of people who are registered to the Democrat Socialist Party, white collar, college educated white people, upper middle class and rich people are the number one members of the Democrat Socialist Party. But you think a bunch of rich people about to vote to take from them and give to you. Yeah, they'll vote that way until it actually starts affecting them. Then they're going to come down on you like a hammer. Cyber Jesus, bro, no, it's not. I live in New York. Are you retarded? Bro, you're dumb. It's not like that. Look, guys, this is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you. These people will get up here and lie. These people get up here and lie. I told you they're driving out the millionaires. They're driving out the businesses. They're driving out the billionaires. No, it's not. Do you think the governor of your state got on TV? Do you think the governor the governor of your state went in front of the nation and humiliated herself, begging billionaires to come back to New York because they're not leaving? Do you think she did that? She did that just because she likes the way it makes her feel. No, it's not. Well, then what the governor is saying is bull then. The woman literally got on stage this year and was like, I got to go to Florida and beg our billionaires to come back. Because when billionaires leave, guess what happens? Jobs leave. The people who eat at the fancy steakhouses, they leave. And then those fancy steakhouses lay people off because they're not bringing the same money. But old buddy said, no, it's not. Right here. If I'm lying, I'm flying.
Zeldin and Molinaro just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong.
She was talking big shit, telling the billionaires she didn't need them in 2022.
And we're here to say that the era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town. Because you don't represent our values. You are not New Yorkers.
And being conscious of the facts that I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state. Right? Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. And
our tax base has been eroded. And if you watch that full video, she says, our billionaires left and went to Florida. We need to try to get them back. So what are you talking about? No, it didn't. Are you crazy? But that is the Democrat MO. Plausible deniability. Do something, mess everything up, and then deny that it happened. But we know it happened because you guys cheer for it. We know it happens because you're cheering for it. And you're wearing it on t-shirts and having rallies celebrating it. So how do you then deny that it ever happened? Pete, I saw someone post the people of New York City are happy with Mamdani. They need to watch the recent videos where he's booed off stage. His snake oil salesman cover is folding. 100%. Mamdani got straight up booed off stage because his platform is now collapsing. Everyone's booing, and then the rest of the people are just they're recording him. You guys haven't seen that video?
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some more dancing? Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're getting awards. Somebody's getting an award. You want to see who's getting an award? Come on, guys. I want some energy here. Ladies and gentlemen, are you...
So much for socialism. The guy's literally getting booed off stage. He's literally getting booed off stage when he tried to speak to the NYPD in Staten Island. Because his ideas are not popular. Right? His ideas are not popular. And a lot of people just don't pay attention. The majority of the city doesn't even participate in the votes. So when they're affected, right? When they're affected, that's when they start paying attention. They start saying, oh crap, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Why can't I do what I was able to do last week? And then they start paying attention. And that's what's going to happen in New York. Mamdani is doing nothing more than waking people up to the fact that they got to pay attention to what's being voted on. Straight up. I want to play y'all another video of this dude getting his ass booed. Hold on. So he goes to Staten Island. That's one municipality he ain't winning. That's one borough he ain't winning. Understand that. Your soldiers are dying for Israel, and it's a good death to get rid of Iran. I support the United States, and I support them bombing the hell out of Iran. You guys talk about Israel. Israel ain't chanting death to America every day. Israel ain't killing American troops. You're a soldier. You don't give a damn about any soldier. You're just using what's going on as a way as you're trying to use what's going on to justify the fact that you hate your country. That's all it's about. That's all this is about. But everywhere we go, you could hate Israel, you could do whatever you want, but it will not change the fact that socialism is a utter failure. That's what I'm getting at here in this video. You can say whatever you want. You can believe whatever you want, but socialism is and will always be a total failure.
Wow, so many Americans are outraged after this person right here, Francesca Hong, who is a Wisconsin governor candidate and a member of the Democrat-Socialist of America, said that Thanksgiving should be canceled. In a resurfaced old tweet in 2020 pulled up by Fox News, Francesca said, "Cancel Thanksgiving. Should have done this in 1621. If it takes a worldwide pandemic for us to realize we should stop celebrating colonialism and the original super spreader event that unalived indigenous folks and women, so be it." Wisconsin governor candidate Tom Tiffany says, "Just so everyone knows where I stand, I won't cancel Thanksgiving as governor." Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, great job of ballistic podiatry by the Wisconsin Democrat Party to be on the brink of nominating an absurdly leftist candidate. Hunter, honestly impressive. It's like she was made in a 2020 lab. Clay Travis, Wisconsin Democrats are nominating a crazy person for governor. And Ted Cruz, today's Democrats, who are communist, openly hate America.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to follow up on our coverage of the radical lunatics helping Democrats snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, okay? Because they're running in Democrat primaries, they're winning Democrat primaries, and it's likely that some of these candidates are going to lose general election races that otherwise Democrats should be winning. And there's a competition now between a couple candidates that I want to talk about for who can run to the center the fastest, right? Who can disavow all the radical stuff that they said before the past, right? And try to appear to be a sane person. You have Abdul El Sayed out in Michigan, who is a DSA back candidate, right? He's backed by Bernie. He's backed by AOC, Hassan Piker, right? He's backed by the socialists, right? But he swears up and down that he's not a socialist, right? And he doesn't believe in the most radical stuff that the socialists believe in.
Well, of course he has to say he's not a socialist because he knows in the general election he can't win if he says he's a socialist. But these people don't care. They'll just become something new. These candidates literally become a different person during every election. In the primary, they're one thing. In the general, they're something else. They'll say and do anything to win. And then people are surprised when they get in office and don't deliver all the wet dreams that they promise you. And then people are surprised when they don't deliver. Well, why would they deliver? They were never what you thought they were. They just needed you to believe that they were something that they're not. And you believed it. Mission accomplished. Now we got to move on to the next. That's the way this works. So, people say, oh, you're afraid. You don't want the Democrat socialists to win. Listen, let them win. If they win, my point is proven. That's the way that works. That's the way that works. If they win, them winning is a lose-lose situation for the people voting for them. Because even now, before these people can even fully even secure the office, right? Before they can secure the office, they're already walking back all the stuff that they promised the idiots who voted for him in the primary.
From the 76.
This Hong lady from Wisconsin, she was talking about defund the police, all types of crazy stuff. Once she secured the primary victory, all the stuff she was saying to get the Democrats to vote for her and make her the nominee, she walked it back because she knows now they'll just vote blue no matter who. So I'll explain to you exactly how this works before we go into our thing. So this is the way it works. I know the Democrat Party is a fractured party. A bunch of people who believe totally different things who come together because they hate Republicans or they hate Trump. So how do I get these people to vote for me? I have to sell each fractured within the group. I have to sell them, this idea that I'm going to give them what they want so they can nominate me. But I understand that there are rational thinking individuals within my party. So I sell a wet dream to all the crazies, the lunatics, so they'll vote for me so I can get the nomination. Once I get the nomination, I could walk back all the stuff I lied and said to them, right? And the normal ones within my group will vote for me. And the crazies will vote for me because they're more afraid of what the other side might do if they win. Then they are angry at me for not delivering on what I promised them. That's the formula. That's the formula. They're just like, we're going to lie to you dummies until we get the primary nomination. We win the primary. And once we enter the general, we walk everything back so we can appear to be normal.
Has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This is her speaking.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to acknowledge that this building and all of us in it are on occupied Ho-Chunk land. And to clarify, the lady from the 76 pronouns are she, her, hers. To begin with speech, I wanted to read out a testimony, permission to read from a...
Abolishing policing is one segment of reforming and reevaluating our criminal justice system. Using those funds from using the funds after we've eliminated the access to eliminating funds for the police needs to be put into rehabilitation services, mental health services for those in prison, making sure that we are looking at decreasing our prison populations.
Police officers enforce the law with state-sanctioned violence and then get excused for violating people's rights because they aren't expected to know the law. Minneapolis police spent nearly $5 million implementing trainings, increasing diversity, repairing to strengthen frayed relationships between cops and communities. It didn't work. We have to dismantle police unions, end qualified immunity, and start funding social services that work with domestic abuse cases, family services, and public education. Our state needs to ensure resolutions and accountability boards where the decision-making power is in the hands of representatives of those communities. And each city should have local control of how they dismantle their police systems to rebuild new community control systems rooted in preventative care and reducing harm. Defund the police, protect Black lives, and build a care community. This is what we need.
Introducing legislation to add Asian Americans to school curricula when in terms of, adding us on to American Indians, Black Americans, and Hispanics in terms of citizenship requirements for what needs to be in curriculum for school boards, going back to making sure that talking about racial identity and the role of race is ubiquitous in classrooms. And that,
You know what's crazy? These people will always bring up Blacks and Hispanics But if blacks and Hispanics are underserved and all this stuff, why don't you drop out the race and put your energy behind a black person or a Hispanic person? And this is why I'm telling people, the Democrat Socialists of America, they're a racist group. If you look at how they act in California, they basically they call black people bigots and say, you guys are bigots and you don't know anything. We're not listening to you. They'll call you the N-word and all that because they are ideologues. Their ideology over everything. Someone's lying in the comments talking about Capital One froze Trump accounts. It's just a lie. But guys, the thing about the Democrats and the people who support them and the Democrat Socialists, on every level, the lies and dishonesty, on every level, the lies and the dishonesty they're always there. They're always there. These people do not even know how to tell the truth. The only way they can get you to support their cause is by tricking you. Is by tricking you the way they were tricked. But because their ego is out of control, and because they're ideologues, they instead of admitting they were tricked, hoodwinked, and bamboozled, they'll just say, you know what, let me just trick someone else so I'll feel better about being tricked.
People don't see that type of change as a threat, that is in the service industry. We are finally having this conversation about, how our industry really did come from it, and kind of is rooted in white supremacy, that tipping in itself. If we look at the history of tipping and how racist it is and how it has kept wages low for Black people for a very long time. And if you look at tipping now, how different the scales are in terms of who receives higher percentage of the tips over other folks.
Tipping is racist and it suppressed the wages of Black people. Guys, so someone giving you a little money after you've done a service for them because they feel that the service you did for them was good, giving them a little money is now racist. So if I go to the restaurant and my waiter is Black, I can now say, hey, I'm not going to give you any money because tipping is racist. Do you know the way these Black waiters and waitresses gonna look at your ass? They gonna say, what? And then gonna talk shit about you if you don't tip. If tipping is racist, why do waiters and waitresses talk shit about you if you don't do it? But what I want you to notice here, and the reason we're having this conversation is, notice how they slowly erode the things that are norms within our society. Notice how they they try to tell you they're going to give you a few things. We're going to give you healthcare for all. We're going to give things that they know they cannot deliver. They promise you things they know they cannot deliver. They make promises that they never intend to keep, right? And whatever they promise you, you got to wait a real long time to get that. While they slowly unravel the few benefits and perks that you're able to enjoy right now. So we're going to get rid of tipping culture because that's racist. We're going to do that today. But the free healthcare and the healthcare for all and the free childcare, that's not going to come until 20 or 30 years down the line. I don't know how people don't see this. That's why I think the people who vote for these people, they're just dumb. That's the only way I could describe them. They're just dumb as hell. Because if I'm a waiter or a waitress, what the hell you mean you not gonna give me a tip? I'd be mad as hell. I would be mad as hell if you came at me as a waiter or waitress talking about, oh, I'm not gonna tip you because tipping is racist. What? Well, be racist then. I need my money. I need my Skrilla. Now let's look at Hong as she's caught up in an interview after winning the primary.
The Democratic Socialist platform, do you not support?
So they asked her, is there any part of the Democratic Socialist platform that she doesn't support?
I think looking at where the Senate is right now, abolishing the Senate when there's an opportunity for us to take that Democratic majority is not practical. So I think that democratic socialism to me is ultimately rooted in care and making sure that people have their needs met. It's about democracy, fairness, and human rights. I am one of the proudest Packers fans, our publicly owned NFL team. I think when I talk about potholes and making sure people pay their fair share of taxes so that we're able to fix the roads, invest in rural communities, and have fire and EMS services that are available regardless of where you live in Wisconsin. These are the things that I'm talking about, issues that voters care about. Tom Tiffany is having to go back to a lot of my old tweets because his actions and his resume, what he's done is defunded healthcare, ripped food share away from our children, supported a national abortion ban. And last time I checked, he still hasn't said who won the 2020 election. Being an election denier is an automatic disqualifier. So when you are the weakest candidate for the Republicans to put forth, it's likely that you're going to have to attack previous tweets of a candidate right now that's building a movement.
So you do support the Senate, the Supreme Court, and prisons, the existence of prisons.
Yes, I support all those things right now that are helping to ensure that there is public safety. But I do believe right now in our Supreme Court that we should be working to expand the court.
Wow. I think this woman is reading from a script. Right. There's something so robotic and so off about her. Right.
Francesca Hong has many times said she wanted to abolish prisons. She says she wants to abolish the police. She says she wants to abolish the Senate. She says she wants to abolish Congress, period. Right? But specifically the Senate. She's even said she wanted to abolish the presidency. But now that it's looking like they're going to win their primaries, right? She's leading the field by with 38% of the vote among Democrats for the primary. Now that she believes victory is secure, is certain, now she's walking back everything she made you believe that she made you believe she believed, which put her in agreement with the Democrat Socialist Party. It's just, so the question is socialism the future? No, it's not. Socialism is not the future. Socialism is never going to take hold in any significant way in America. But that's not going to stop people like Francesca Hong, people like Al Said, people like Katie Wilson, people like Brandon Johnson, people like Zohran Mamdani. That is not going to stop them from using Democrat socialist talking points to get people to vote for them, to win small local elections, just so they can get in the chamber with the Democrat Party and then bend their knee to the Democrat overlords. That's why the Democrats don't care. That's why the Democrats aren't pushing against them. Because the Democrats are like, well, whatever happens, they're going to have to bend the knee. But the Democrat Party also has to play smart because they understand that the more you embrace these crazies, the more people start looking at you the less people look at you as a viable option when it comes to where they're going to place their vote. They're looking at you like, so you're agreeing with these crazy people. So you're agreeing with the woke radicals, right? And so now they're trying to play a very tricky game. They're trying to play this, like they're trying to perform this balancing act, right? They're trying to perform a balancing act.
He was the half
when it
god
comes
in Lebanon.
to how they're going to get elected going forward. But the sad part is they're totally fine. They're totally fine with just lying to you. And that's what you should be concerned about. Because a politician that will lie to you and purposely misrepresent who they are, right? They're not someone you can trust. And
where are you on the question of whether
Francesca Hong, she continues to get humiliated. She continues to get exposed for being a fraud, and you really need to pay attention.
Where are you on the question of whether or not DSA members or DSA adjacent candidates affect the broader ticket, affect the party?
Look, they're going to be part of our coalition. We already have DSA members in Congress. Work quite well with them. In the end, we're going to be a big tent in the Democratic Party. And what people want right now in these primaries, you're seeing it across the country, is they want change. They want fighters. They want someone who will stand up. So some of these races have been less about ideology and more about style as well, and making sure you have someone who's going to fight rather than someone who will continue the status quo.
Boy. So we got to talk about and react to yet again another fiery Fox News interview featuring one of these far left socialist lunatics who, for whatever reason, thinks it's a good idea to go on Fox News, which, by the way, I got to give him credit for, right? Like the one socialist lunatic who claimed that we should cancel Thanksgiving.
Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made that was for the community when I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal. Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful.
Do you believe Thanksgiving should be canceled? I'm a chef. That's the response. Y'all over in Wisconsin about to try to make this moron the governor. Can't even answer a straight question. Do you believe Thanksgiving should be canceled? No. I'm a chef, and it's a special time of year. That has nothing to do with the question.
Painful for many people in our communities. And so I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve.
Oh, so her views evolve. Talking about Thanksgiving is a painful day for many people in our communities. I'm Black. I ain't never had a bad Thanksgiving. What can be bad about potato pie, mac and cheese, dressing, turkey, ham? I don't eat no damn turkey, but the ham be busting. Collard greens, candy yams. What are you talking about, Francesca? Maybe in your house, y'all ate chow mein for Thanksgiving, but not at my house. These people are just hateful. They hate anything good. They hate anything good. And this is what they're ultimately asking you. Sacrifice everything that you enjoy and love in the name of helping a bunch of people that you don't even know. That's what they want. Give up happiness in the name of toxic empathy. And if you fall for it, you a fool.
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. Because I
there
love
you have it.
Yep. I don't want to cancel it. I actually love it. We bring, it's.
Now, didn't this woman just say we need to abolish Thanksgiving? Now, all of a sudden, she loves Thanksgiving. This is what I'm telling y'all. These people are just gaslighting you. They're going to gaslight you all the way to the poorhouse. They're going to gaslight you until you give them enough power and leverage to destroy your life. This woman just said cancel Thanksgiving. And now she on here with this white dude saying, oh, it's my favorite holiday. This shows you that they're willing to just say anything to get one bifocal wearing overweight feminist to vote for them. He said, Goyim. I got him. Right.
Kind of in-laws and family members and their in-laws. And it's a big event. And, I'm going to be real. I'm kind of a curmudgeon when it comes to holidays in general. But right now, what we want to get serious about is making sure that we deliver a Democratic trifecta for the majority, for Democrats. And it's exciting to see more and more people join our movement, get engaged, get organized, and get to work to make sure that we have Democrats in the majority in the legislature and the executive this year.
Right, that one. Yeah, I mean, saying stuff like that to a Fox News audience, I don't think that's winning over conservatives. I don't think that's winning over Trump supporters. I don't think that's winning over moderates, right? I don't think that's winning over anybody that's sane in this country, okay? So with that being said, this is Chris Rabb.
So these people, they're just exposing themselves left and right. They are willing to say whatever they have to say in front of whatever audience they happen to be in front of at the time, to walk away with people saying, "Ooh, I like that person." In front of the DSA crowd, she said, "Abolish Thanksgiving." Then she got in front of the conservative Fox News crowd and says she loves Thanksgiving. Which one is this, Francesca? Now, I believe the reality is the abolish Thanksgiving. I believe she's a left-wing lunatic, right? But she won't be caught dead saying that in front of a room of people whose vote is actually up for grabs. Someone said Rome is falling. No, Rome ain't falling because Rome didn't have social media. We're going to keep the United States running.
Who is from Pennsylvania. I don't think that's winning over anybody that's sane in this country, okay? So with that being said, this is Chris Rabb, who is from Pennsylvania. He is running for Congress. He's a Democrat nominee in his district, and he tried to take on Sean Hannity. And let's just say this didn't go too well.
Anyway, Democrat.
Now, mind you, these are Democrat socialists. And so now, you know, the Democrat socialists, they do good when they're like on NPR. They do good when they're on MSNBC. No one's going to push back against the nonsense that they say. But now they understand, look, in order for me to win, I'm going to have to get in front of that conservative crowd, right? I'm going to have to be able to explain myself. Why? Because I'm going to have to be able to beat a conservative in a debate. And the minute they go in front of the conservative crowd, they just fall apart. They fall apart because magical words and pixie dust don't work on conservatives.
And he tried to take on Sean Hannity. And let's just say this didn't go too well.
Anyway, Democratic nominee for Pennsylvania's 3rd Congressional District, Chris Rabb, joins us now. Chris, appreciate you coming. Let me just go through
My
the
pleasure.
DSA.
Thank you, Scott.
My name is not Scott. My name is Sean, but that's okay.
Apologies.
Let's go. No worries. No worries. Let's go through the DSA beliefs. Yes or no? You want to eliminate the U.S. Senate?
That's not really what I ran on. That's the DSA national platform.
Okay, I'm asking. You're a DSA member.
I'm letting you know what I ran on because I'm the Democratic nominee for the 3rd Congressional District.
These people are insane, bro. These people.
So they say they're part of the Democrat Socialists of America, right? But then when you ask them, do they believe what the Democrat Socialists of America believe? They say no. Oh, that's the national platform, but that's not what I ran on. Bro, if I'm a Democrat, whatever the Democrat national platform is, that's what I support. If I'm a Republican, whatever the Republican national platform is or says, I support that. There may be a few areas of nuance where we disagree, but overwhelmingly, I support what they say. And so when bro said you want to abolish the Senate or whatever, he doesn't say, no, I don't want to abolish the Senate. He says, that's not what I ran on. Who do these people think they're fooling? That's my question to the audience. Who do these people think they are fooling?
It was so insane. It's so crazy to me. It's okay. They don't have any common sense. The fact that he can't just say, no, I don't believe in that, tells you that he does believe in it. He says, well, I didn't run on that. Then you believe the organization.
What I ran on.
Totally fair question.
Do you want amnesty for, sir, I'm asking you a quick questions, then we'll give you time. Do you want amnesty for illegals and to abolish borders?
Yes.
What are illegals?
Illegal immigrants, people that didn't respect our laws, borders, and sovereignty, entered the country without permission?
What are illegals, dude?
Illegally.
I don't accept the premise of that question. There are folks who have documentation, but these are not criminal acts.
Excuse me. If you enter our country illegally, by definition, that is a criminal act.
It is.
Do you want to abolish ICE?
Absolutely, and dismantle the immigrant concentration camps.
Do you want to defund the Department of War?
Yeah.
We need to radically reduce how much money we're spending with the Pentagon. Absolutely. Our war budget is radically larger than every other country combined.
Do you want to end all deportations?
Yes.
Do I want to end all deportations? We want to make sure that there's an immigration system that is fair, just, and efficient, and we don't have that system. There was a bipartisan bill in the Senate that was moving towards that, but your president tried to kill that in order to be president again.
Now, notice
these people have all these far off ideas, right? They're not going to tell you how they're going to implement this stuff. It's clear they haven't weighed the potential impact of this stuff. All they know is when it comes to the lemmings who follow their platform, it gets the panties wet. That's all they know. They don't care if this stuff is going to destroy the country. They don't care if our kids won't be safe at night when they lay in their beds. All they know is, hey, I need votes. And this will get these dummies to vote for me. That's all they know. And so therefore, they're going to keep spewing these talking points. They're going to keep trying to, give you the old banana in the tailpipe. Not like Roland Martin, but you know what I mean. Until you start standing up to these people and saying, dude, explain it to me. How's this going to work? How is this going to be implemented? What role will you play in this? And once you're gone, can it be sustained? That's the question. That's the question. But they never answer any questions. Our country is broken, but it can be fixed. I don't even think our country is broken. I believe that you have a vocal minority of people who are supporting radical policies, ultimately because they are jealous of people who have worked for the things they want. You got the bums versus the people who are willing to work.
He's also your president. You do live in the United States, whether you like it or not. Would you like to eliminate cash bail and establish a wealth tax?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. You want, obviously, I went through your list. You want the Green New Deal. Would you like to abolish prisons and abolish the police?
Absolutely.
Well, what's interesting about that statement is long before there was any notion of policing, we had founders that did not even understand that term. Policing is something that's...
What the hell does founders not understanding that term mean? Yeah, they didn't understand the term policing because the military did the policing. I bet you the founders understood a British musket because that's what kept the law and order, and your ass will get shot. Do you understand? But these guys are sitting up here, they play ignorant. Oh, that's an interesting question. Dude, do you or do you not support abolishing police? And the answer is yes. What will you replace them with? I don't know. These people are not serious, and the people that vote for them are not serious. The college students and the elderly people who vote for them are not serious.
Evolved over time. Ultimately, what we want is to have communities that are safe. And 99% of what police do are not going after the bad guys.
No, police aren't going after the bad guys because the Democratic-Socialists have made it impossible for the police to go after the bad guys. And then when the police go after the bad guys, you guys have fought to let the bad guys out a few minutes after the police arrest them. See how these people are agents of chaos. They have created the perfect storm to destroy America. Now they're coming to you saying, oh, vote for us and we'll fix the problems that we created. That's all these people do. They create one problem. When you try to fix it, they go create another problem. While you're fixing that one, they go create another problem. If you don't believe me, look at what's going on in Iran. The Democrat Party created that problem in Iran. All those Iranian drones and missiles and all that, those were paid with U.S. taxpayer dollars, handed over to the Iranian IRGC regime by Obama and Biden. Every missile being shot at our troops was manufactured with money handed over to Iran by Obama and Biden, right? So while Trump and the Republicans go put out the fire in Iran, while we deal with that situation, now they're trying to create another problem, right? While we're trying to get this situation settled in Iran, now they're after the girls' sports. Or just name it. They're just trying to create all these fires, and everyone is going around trying to put the fires out. But while you're putting one fire out, they're trying to create another dumpster fire. This is all the Democrat Party does. Gaslight American citizens because they have no policies, create problems, and then criticize Republicans for not being able to fix them. They did it with COVID. Everybody knows what Fauci did. Everyone knows what Fauci did. So while we were dealing with COVID, then the Democrats come back and say, oh, you mishandled COVID. Well, you created COVID. You funded COVID. Now you're going to criticize me because I didn't handle it the way you feel like I should have handled it when I didn't even know what the hell it was. And they are doing it right now as we speak. Right now as we speak. They're creating fires everywhere while we're trying to handle the situation with Iran.
That can be done in different
So
ways.
you support,
professionals who are trained to do
police.
so.
Okay, I'm talking about police that arrest bad people, that commit crimes and commit robberies and rape, the child molesters, the drug dealers, those people, the people that have guns that
Were there people
protect
who did
the
that
innocent.
before the term police existed, though? I mean, let's talk about this in the appropriate context.
You want to go by the definition. Everyone watching this show knows what policing is. You know what policing is. So let's not play word games. Do you want to?
Yeah, he's trying to get academic. He's trying to get all academic on a very simple question. Do you want to abolish the police or not? Right? Yes or no? Right? I mean, the easy answer should be no. A sane person would say no. No, I don't want to abolish the police. Right? He can't give you a yes or no because he believes in abolishing the police, right? So again, he has to go comma word salad, has to try to get all academic. Well, what is the definition of the word policing, right? What do you mean by policing, right? It's like that's not what we're talking about. Everybody knows what we're talking about, okay? We're talking about cops, right? Crime fighters, right? Again, he wants to get rid of it. These people are radical as hell. Believe them.
Yeah, they're everything that they say they are. Everything that they say they want. And they'll move around the subject and try to purposely not answer the question. So while the Republicans are handling the situation in Iran that the Democrats created, right? Now the Democrats are trying to gaslight people on the Nolan Wells issue. Once that subsides, they're going to try to now they're trying to gaslight people on the trans athletes in sports. Now they're mad because, certain sports want to give a genetic test to all the athletes to make sure that they're females. You see how that works? They literally try to destroy the country from the inside out and come to you and say, well, if you don't want the country destroyed, you better come vote for me. And people are just dumb. People fall for this crap all the time. But now because of the internet, these fools are getting exposed.
the police or
I'm
not?
a state
Do you
lawmaker
want to
who's
defund them?
represented 70,000 people for 10 years. No,
Do you
I've
want them
never
safe
said
and
that.
secure?
What my point is,
you do recognize there are murderers, rapists, child molesters, drug dealers, bad people in this world. Do you want to have people that are hired to arrest them?
we need to keep our communities safe, and there are
Wow.
ways
I
of
didn't
doing
ask
that.
you.
Wow.
Do
Long
you
before
want
the term police
Wow.
ever existed.
Then how, if you
Do you
don't
believe in
have police,
sheriffs?
how would you protect the
Do you
people in
believe
your
in state
district?
troopers?
State troopers, can they be armed in your view?
Hey, listen, I believe in arming oneself. Listen, my people are from the South.
So do I.
All right. So the only way we could protect ourselves was to arm ourselves because we couldn't trust the police because they were largely part of the Klan. So yes, all of my people were
That is
armed.
a
I have no
generalization
problem
that
with
is not true.
What is this guy talking about, bro?
This guy thinks he's smarter than everybody. Lady, my ramp. I don't know what that means, but you can come up. If you're saying I'm lying, come up. Come up. The link is in the comments. Click the link, come up. I'm telling you guys, these liberal idiots, they can't win a debate. Did you guys just hear what happened in California? The guy Javier Becerra, he said he's not going to debate Steve Hilton. He said he's not going to debate Steve Hilton. Shut up, lady, New York ramp. You said you could tell me something. Click the link and come up or shut up. Put up or shut up. But this guy Javier Becerra is like, I'm not debating Steve Hilton. Why? Why? Because he knows if he gets up there lying, he's going to get exposed. Right. You're a Republican. See, no Democrat can win. They can't win. The only way Democrats can win is to get a lot of incredibly stupid people to support them. That's about it. The host is a self-hate. So now a white man is telling me that I'm a self-hating black person because I don't agree with him. Understand that. A white guy is telling me, a black man, I'm a self-hater because I don't agree with him. Man, shut up. How much are they paying you? Have you seen? Stupid. But yeah, listen, to all the libtards out there, I'm never going to agree with you. What you believe doesn't even make sense. And you don't even believe it's what you claim to believe. Excuse me. Because the minute these socialists try to take something from you in the name of equality, you're going to see the same people talking about, I'm a Democrat socialist. You're going to see them up in arms, ready to destroy shit because they don't want to pay more of what they are earning to the federal government. But they're totally fine if someone else gets to foot the bill. What part of love thy neighbor is that? I'll wait. What part of love thy neighbor is that? Pray on your neighbor. Allow the government, vote for the government to levy extremely high taxation against that person, and then sit back and say, oh yeah, I did it in the name of toxic empathy. I did it because I feel sorry for these people. Man, I'm telling you, I live in California. This is the liberal stronghold. And when I tell you these liberals are not who they say they are, they're not who they're pretending to be, you better believe me. But let's see what else this guy has to say before we end it.
Seriously, what is this dude talking about? I mean, this is embarrassing. These people are winning elections. I mean, like, seriously, as the average voter, how do you listen to somebody like this who can't even give you a straight answer on whether or not he wants to abolish the police or prisons? How do you listen?
Every aspect of people's lives is why lockbox. This is all government one Obamacare. The promise was per capita, no more oil, guaranteed
to abolish the police or prisons. How do you listen to somebody like this and say, yeah, I want him to represent me, right? He knows what he's doing, right? But he can't give you a straight answer on anything. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely insane.
Let me ask you this. Universal
I can
basic
only speak
income,
for
the Green
my
New
family.
Deal that you support, federal jobs, you want a guaranteed federal job, guaranteed income, guaranteed housing, guaranteed childcare, government's grocery stores, no more oil and gas, et cetera. So my question for you is, we spend more per capita on education per child than any industrialized country, and we have the worst results. That's government run, government schools. We adopted Obamacare. The promise was keep your doctor, keep your plan. Average family saves $2,500 a year. The results are in, and well, millions lost doctors, millions lost plans, and the average family pays 300% more, and 40% of the country around that number has one Obamacare exchange option. Social Security was supposed to be put in a lockbox. This is all government run. You're putting your faith in government. So my question to you is
Right,
why?
so this is the same government that's run
Let me finish
by
my question.
Republicans.
My question to you is why you put so much faith, hope, and trust that you want the government to basically control every aspect of people's lives. Why? Why do you have to trust them so much with that failed record?
Well, we're talking about a red trifecta right now. You all control everything, the Supreme Court, the presidency, the Senate, and the House. Where are your solutions?
Elections.
Why are we not doing so well?
Well, we just had.
Well, I mean, Democrats are blocking most of the solutions, right? To be honest with you, in the Senate, okay, they're filibustering, which, you know, I'm pretty sure this guy would support abolishing if Democrats were in power. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah, everything that we try to do gets blocked by Democrats. So I mean, this idea that we necessarily control everything is just kind of silly because you know, we don't, right? I mean, Democrats clearly have the ability to block what we're doing in the Senate. You know, but again, you know, that is kind of inconvenient to the narrative here that, you know, Republicans are responsible for everything when, again, it's not like Democrats are willing to get on board with anything that the Trump administration is trying to do.
Yeah, all the Democrats are going to do is disrupt. They're going to disrupt until they're able to lie their way back into power, which is fine. Even when you talk about the health care for all, oh, Obamacare, you got all these people online. Oh, the Republicans took my health care. Guys, the Democrat Party voted to end Obamacare under Joe Biden. The Democrat Party voted to end Obamacare under Joe Biden. Let me show you the proof. Did the Democrat Party vote to end Obamacare under Biden, and why? Let me show you guys. Now, the Democrats voted they didn't, it's not technically end. They voted to let Obamacare expire, right? To not renew it, right? 8 Senate Democrats voted along with the Republicans. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on one second. Hold on, I messed this up when I wrote it. Man, my AI is not working for some reason. It keeps on just buffering. Sorry, guys. I wanted to prove this in real time as I usually do, but for some reason my AI is not working. It's just buffering and buffering and buffering. The thing just keeps spinning. I tried to retype it like 5 times, but I don't know. But anyway, so guys, I can prove it. I can 100% prove it. No, why would my stream accidentally shut down? Guys, we've already discussed this. We've already discussed this a million times when the Democrats were literally holding the government hostage. Oh, you're taking away our health care. You're taking away our health care. You're taking away our health care. Well, I've already proved this time and time again. So whatever you want to say. No, I don't know why my Brave is not working. I'm in my Brave AI. It's just buffering. And the thing was, Obamacare didn't even actually make healthcare more affordable. Obamacare raised people's prices. In the long run, it raised people's prices. And people would constantly complain about that. I'm trying to type it in again. And then, like, I was watching this debate on Facebook where people were like, oh man, Trump raised my prices for healthcare. And then people were arguing like, no, everyone's like, no, my stuff got cheaper. They kept saying, oh, Obamacare is lowering people's prices. All day long. You can literally Google that yourself. Did Obamacare raise people's health care costs? Yes, Affordable Care Act is Obamacare. Did Obamacare raise people's health care costs? That's the whole thing. Yes, it did. It raised people's health care costs by 60%. So from what they were paying when Obamacare started, their healthcare costs went up 60%. Being on what was supposed to be an Affordable Care Act. Is it true? Jason right here. Jason hates me, and he literally says it's true. Everyone knows it's true. Everyone knows it's true. So the Affordable Care Act is not affordable. Even Democrats admitted that the Affordable Care Act raised prices. That's why they kept trying to ask the government to subsidize. Trying it again. Let's see. Look, let me show you. I don't need to lie to anyone. Right here. Let me show you. Did Obamacare raise people's health care? Yes, Obamacare raised premiums for many individuals in the non-group market, particularly healthy people and those who did not those not qualifying for subsidies, while simultaneously lowering costs for others through what? Financial aid. That means the government's paying. That means the government is giving them money. So they couldn't pay for their own health care under the Obamacare. The Obamacare was made for you to be able to afford health care, not for you to have to depend on the government to pay the health care for you, right? Data indicates that individual market premiums increased by an average of 60% from 2013, which was what that was while Obama was still in office. From From 2013, they raised by 60% from 2013 to 2017. A sharp rise compared to less than 10% increase in the preceding 4 years. However, healthcare spending growth overall slowed after the ACA's passage, dropping from 6.9% annually from 2000 to 2009 to 4.3% from 2010 to 2018. But that right there is just because the government stopped spending directly on people's health care and then started instead subsidizing Obamacare. So all it was the way they calculated it or the way they looked at it. That's it. Obamacare was a failure. That's the whole point. Everyone said it was going to be a failure. And it was a failure under Obama while he was still in office. So you can't say, well, Trump sabotaged it. No, it failed while Obama was still in office. And then the Democrats did what? They went and voted for subsidies. Subsidies and coverage expansions offset costs for millions. If it's Affordable Care Act, why is the government having to subsidize it? More than 20 million Americans gained health insurance through Medicaid expansion and marketplace changes, with enhanced subsidies significantly reducing monthly bills for low and middle income families. For example, without enhancements, a family of 4 earning $150,000 in Orlando would see premiums jump from $1,063 to $1,880 monthly. Conversely, those earning too much for subsidies but not receiving employer coverage often faced even higher deductibles and premiums, with some plans costing $600 a month or more. So Obamacare started, oh yeah, we're going to save everybody money, and then end up destroying everybody's pockets, which is crazy. But nobody wants to have that discussion. Nobody wants to have that discussion. No, you got rid of Obamacare, which was bleeding us dry. It's literally like a pig getting mad because the farmer won't take him to the slaughterhouse. People in America, man, some of us just do not think. But guys, thank you. And you have to pay a penalty? Yes. And you have to pay a penalty for not having insurance. I know it happened to me, 100%. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate you and everything you do for this channel. Till the next time, please, please, please don't be out here voting and making decisions emotionally. Do your research. Take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.